All right. Hey, this is Dr. Leonette. I'm with Alpha Emerged, and I have a special guest. I actually have two special guests today. We have Bob Sima and Shannon Plummer. They are have an amazing ability to put together stress reduction, breathing, and singing. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring them right on right now. Hey, Bob.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. So tell us a little bit about you. I know you and I have worked together in the past multiple times, but and we focus a lot more on stress reduction with this Alpha Emerged client base. So tell me a little bit about what you do and how to bring about harmony in the self body.
Oh, good way to put it. Harmony in the body. Well, I'm primarily a singer-songwriter who's was I would say slightly obsessed with meditation and different techniques to bring about peace in the body. Because myself and my wife here, Shannon, which we're a duo. We were both, I wouldn't call us overly stressed out executives, but we were on that path. Shannon was in the DoD, climbing that, that ladder within her world. I was in my world in executive sales, and we both were kind of living at the end of the rope, if you'll pardon the French. But we were sort of in this world that we weren't living our full truth and our full passion, and we were a little bit stressed out. And so we left all that behind to really to focus on the music. I would say is my primary gift, and then Shannon's is her healing and coaching practice. So we kind of combined all that. Brought in some additional tools, and one of them is a really powerful technique that is, millennia old, but it's called we call it practical breath work. It's a way of bringing the power of and the force of the breath into the body to create, hundreds and hundreds of benefits to the average human. So that's sort of in a nutshell what we're doing. And we also have a retreat that we do called Practical Breath. It's called Boldly Going Nowhere, that we have incorporated everything that we do into a weekend event where you get the full-on, treatment of everything that we do. So music, breath work, meditation, healing, creativity. It's a weekend of just goodness that brings people boldly going nowhere, which is nowhere is broken down into now here. So a lot to say, and because it's a lot that we're doing here as a combination of the two gifts that we both bring.
That sounds amazing. So looking with this, tell me, we talk about like being over-aroused and chronic stress. So the term we use a lot is sympathetic dominance, people living in this big, strong sympathetic dominance. So tell me how breathing and just actually getting into the zone and relaxing can help reduce that stress.
Well, it's pretty straightforward, really, and it follows that sympathetic dominance story very well. If you study the human body, when you inhale, you're hitting the sympathetic nervous system. When you exhale, you're hitting the parasympathetic. So it's a simple mechanism. Parasympathetic being the healing mechanism within the autonomic nervous system. So what most people are dealing with, Jimmy, is they have what's called a breathing pattern disorder, and it sounds kind of fancy and scary, but really it's just that people are over inhaling and they're not exhaling enough. They're breathing up in their chest. They're not breathing with their nose. There's just a lot of mechanical things that people are doing because they're already stressed out to begin with, and their pattern of breathing, this breathing pattern disorder, just further exacerbates this sympathetic dominance that you're seeing with your patients. So breathing, proper breathing through what we call practical breath work is, kind of relearning how to breathe. It sounds crazy, but, relearning how to use your belly, your diaphragm, your nose, inhaling and exhaling properly. And when you bring all of that together, and we have about over 20 techniques on our workshop, our online class. You just have miraculous results, and they're pretty quick. You feel it instantly. You feel better. So it really follows the the storyline of sympathetic dominance pretty well.
So a lot of these people are like rushed executives and entrepreneurs.
Sure.
So what kind of time frame do you notice? Like what because I've had some hesitation when I mentioned some meditation and even some of the other tools that are out there, some of the biofeedback tools. But I know breathing, you carry it with you everywhere you go. But what's kind of the time frame that you would see that somebody would need to commit to actually getting their stress level down quickly in per session?
It's interesting because that's exactly why we call it practical. You know, for us, you can go into long breathwork sessions and holotropic breathwork and rebirthing. And some people might have heard of that before, where, you know, for an hour you're breathing, you know, more rapidly through your mouth. And we were like, wow, that's great. And there's a whole lot of healing and inspiration that can come out of those sessions. But for us, we need something to be practical. We're on the road a lot. We travel about half the year. We need something that, you know, some tools and techniques to help us respond, our body's systems to respond immediately. So we have, as Bob said, about 20 techniques that you can practice them in your car on your way to work. You can do them for 3 minutes before you have to pick up the phone call to have a more intense, you know, what you're anticipating to be a more intense discussion, for example. You could get a group of executives sitting around a table before a meeting to just come into the room and reset that nervous system into a place of calm and peace before a meeting. So the practice itself can be integrated anywhere, anytime. And we always say, just do it. It doesn't matter today if you do it for 5 minutes or you do it for 15 minutes. But once you do it and you feel the immediate results, you're not going to help but want to do it for longer periods of time to feel even a more extensive response in your body.
Yeah. So like so they can get the coaching on practicalbreathwork.com. Now I know we did a retreat. I did a retreat with you guys about 2 years ago, where we took about a 6-hour in-depth meditation, breathing. I mean, that was one of the most profound weekends I've had in my life. Is that like the boldly going nowhere? Is that the kind of stuff you do at those retreats?
Yeah. What we experienced there in Key West, I believe that was a good little snapshot into what we do over a weekend. It's a Friday to Sunday. So we get people in on a Friday evening and we have you out by, you know, Sunday after lunch. So yeah, it's just like, you know, imagine what we did for 6 hours, you know, over the course of a weekend. You know, and it's nothing really super intense. It's a journey, and everybody's on a different journey. So some people go really, really super deep, and some people kind of, you know, just experience a great calming effect. And 6 months later, we'll get a text from somebody and say, you know what, I look at everything differently now. I don't eat the same way. I chew my food, you know. I mean, just these little micro changes that you pick up during the weekend that you wouldn't even thought of during the weekend. And they kind of sneak into your life and they integrate later. So yeah, that's what the Boldly Going Nowhere weekend is all about. Profoundly life-changing, but yet not intimidating at all. And anybody can go through the journey back to themselves. I mean, that's what we call it.
Yeah. So let's just talk about probably one of the last things we'll talk about here is just what are the benefits of slowing down your nervous system? What have you just mentioned like chewing your food. Is digestion that you see improving? What kind of like 6 months later from some of your clients?
Well, let me just give you one breath. 4, 7, 8. So you can try it while you're listening to the show. Just breathe out completely. Always exhale before you do a breath work pattern. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and then blow it out for 8. 4, 7, 8. Simple breath. It's actually quite popular. You do that breath. You could do it before you step up to swing a golf club. It's a starting ritual. You are immediately in a peak state. When you're in sympathetic dominance, you're in a weak state, and you know this, Jimmy. But you're in a state of alertness and all of that. But there's certain things that just aren't available to you. When you bring your nervous system into balance, digestion obviously is one of the primary functions of the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. So your food's going to digest better. You're going to sleep better. You're going to be more mentally clear. And I don't mean alert like you're looking for the danger coming in. You're just going to be clear. You're going to see things on the periphery rather than everything that's in front of you. You're going to feel a sense in your being that everything's okay, because parasympathetic nervous system means all is well. And so anything you can do to stimulate your parasympathetics, and you know this, Jimmy, is going to benefit you in a state of in the way that you're going to feel more present. You're going to feel good in your body. Your heart rate is going to go down. I think what we have seen is that your circulation improves, but your blood pressure goes down, and that's like sort of unheard of in this world. You're going to increase the oxygenation and the alkalinity of your cells. There was a Nobel Prize awarded in the 1930s. They studied the cancer cell. Cancer cells can't live in highly oxygenated, alkaline environment. So, I mean, the benefits are just you can't even begin to list them all here on a short call. But it just completely changes your whole life. Your body just starts to live in a vibrancy that you've been looking for. You're looking for that energy. Well, here it is. So, yeah, that's just a quick little rundown of a few of the benefits.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Now, I know we've talked in the past. I've invited you up to the clinic, and we actually want to measure some of the body's response with blood flow out to the extremities and heart rate and breathing rates. We have a really nice biofeedback system here and measurement tool. I am so looking forward to trying out these different breaths with this system. So I'm going to invite you.
That would be great.
And we'll post all those results when that time comes, and we'll share that with our audience and hopefully have a follow-up conversation at that time.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, we're pretty jazzed up about like heart rate variability, which is, I know you guys measure heart rate variability as one of the sort of the indicators of overall health, and that we've seen that already. So yeah, that'd be a great way to put some numbers on this and show people, because you can feel it. Any human being that walks into our class walks out just walking on cloud nine, and they're like, I'm going to do this every day. How did I not know about this? I can't believe I've just tapped into this thing. But when they, it'd be great for them to see, the fit, on paper, how it's showing up in their body. That would be even, higher level of verification, if you will, or validation.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to encourage you all to check out their website, Practical Breathwork, and I'll put a link to that. And then actually check out their music page too. Is that bobsima.com? Yeah,
bobsima.com. They can listen to 7 songs. If you join the mailing list, you just pop in your email. You'll get some free music. It's all music around empowerment. Every single song is written with an intention for self-improvement or deepening, your sense of connection to everything. It's I think it's hard to describe the music, but every song is like a self-help module, if you will, wrapped up in a cool song that you'd want to listen to. So that's our goal with that.
And then where do they get the information on Boldly Going Nowhere?
That's weareboldlygoingnowhere.com. That's the website for that. We're in the process of putting this all under one umbrella, but that's a lot of websites to combine. So right now we just have these separate websites. So it's bobsima.com for the music, weareboldlygoingnowhere.com for the workshop or for the retreat, practicalbreathwork.com for the breathwork class, and Shannon's website is speakmypassion.com. And that she didn't get, I feel like I said everything today, but she's a powerful healer and does intentional coaching for executives and folks needing to get some focus and clarity in their lives and get back on the path that their heart is calling for.
Oh, I can't wait to interview her again. So it's been wonderful.
Yeah, we'll get
Shannon, I'll let you talk next time, okay?
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
Well, we're sitting right here, and I looked at her, she looked at me, and I just kept, just kept going. So.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys so much for participating on the call, and I'll send this over to you as soon as it gets out. Okay.
an honor to be with you, and thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Jimmy.